on your experience, what percentage of companies have protocol, and that means all requirements, in place prior to effective June 2017? Based on your experience, what percentage of companies have protocol, meaning all requirements, in place prior to the effective date of June 2017? Who'd like to start with that?
Yeah, Benoit speaking. I'd be happy to provide some answer to that, and I assume this question is directed to French companies or French subsidiaries of U.S. groups. I mean, in my experience, you could distinguish really between two types of companies today. The quite large subsidiaries or French groups that have been used to this type of compliance programs for a long time. And for them, the question is more about adapting and adjusting their current programs to the new Sapin II legislation, and this is more about fine-tuning that, putting in place whole new procedures. The second type of companies is very much the vast majority of companies that could fall within the scope of Sapin II, and these are the small, medium-sized companies that just cross the thresholds that we outline, and these are really many because their priority is obviously to run the business, and their priority is not really, at least in the past, to put in place some complex compliance programs, and therefore that's really for them now to get up to speed with the new legislation, and this will trigger some significant work to put in place whole new procedures. So, you know, to give a short answer, I would say that today in France, if you had to give a percentage, I would say that probably 20% of companies today have something in place, and the 80% has to do a lot of work to put in place the procedures required by the French legislation.
If I may add some comments to Benoit's answer, we at BDO in France who are working a lot on risk management with small, medium, and large caps. What I can observe is that there is a big difference between listed and non-listed groups in France, because you may know that listed groups have a huge regulation and more compliance requirements, while non-listed companies do not have. And what I can say is that maybe the 240 largest groups, French groups, have structured risk assessments. It doesn't mean that they have structured corruption risk assessments, and even some of these big, large corporates in France, whether they are listed or non-listed, are now working on structuring specific risk assessment and specific risk management and environment. What I could observe too is that there's a big difference with French subsidiaries or of foreign groups, depending on the maturity of these foreign groups regarding compliance. And in particular, in this respect, my experience is that subsidiaries of UK and US or Northern Europe groups are much more structured when it comes to compliance.